let's be honest, you're not making the playoffs next year. Sorry to break it to you. I want an elite scorer next to Cade Cunningham.
I want something elite other than he can get to the rim elite.
Give me a guy who can put the ball in the basket. Shaedon Sharpe's the guy.
I did want to get your take. And earlier this week, we talked to our guy Bryce Simon of the Pistons Pulse podcast, and we kind of broke down the draft a little bit and what the Pistons, what they will do, what they should do, what they could do, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So Jeff, I do want to run it back with you real quick because I'm kind of taking in all the information. But where are you sitting right now with the Pistons and the draft situation and what you think they should do?
The more and more I read reports, I feel like Jaden Ivey's going to be gone before 5. Something tells me some team is going to trade up to Sacramento and attempt to get him. And if that happens, guys, let's be honest, I've been saying this since the start of this whole process. I want an elite scorer next to Cade Cunningham. That's what I see in the backcourt. And I see, if you look at the options besides Jaden Ivey, to me, that's
I thought you said you wanted an elite scorer.
Shaedon Sharpe. That's my elite scorer, or can be an elite scorer. I think Ben Mathurin, someone that Bryce Simon's high on, that's an option. I just think the upside of a guy like Shaedon Sharpe is just tremendously better than Ben Mathurin, and I'll explain why. I'm a guy who likes to swing for the fences, especially at number 5. You already got the hard part out of the way. You pick Cade Cunningham. You got it right. Now this year, you have the number 5 overall pick. Let's be honest, you're not making the playoffs next year. Sorry to break it to you, but you have time to develop whoever this pick is. You don't need to go and reach for Keegan Murray because it's safe. I get it. But again, I want to swing for the fences. I want the best player at that position. If Jaden Ivey's gone, because that's who the consensus, you've seen the poll, the consensus of Pistons fans want, Shaedon Sharpe's the guy. And in that case, I would be excited. You have a guy who, and I'm a big, who are you when your shot's not falling? I've always said that. And with Shaedon Sharpe, if the shot's not falling, listen, the interview process is going to be very important because you have to get the feel for these guys. And if Troy Weaver, it was reported that he was at Shaedon Sharpe's workout in Chicago. So if Troy Weaver likes the person, because he did say it himself, we draft the person, not the player. That's big. So if Shaedon checks those boxes, on the basketball court, to me, he checks a lot of boxes. 6'6", unofficial 49-inch vert with a 7-foot wingspan. I'll take that. I'll take that. And he's 2 years younger than both of the other players available. So people talk about all the time, Terry Foster's a big one. It's hard enough to bring free agents to Detroit. So you have to roll the dice. You got to go out and get a player that can be that guy. And I think Shaedon Sharpe can be that guy. So like Michael Jordan said, the ceiling is the roof. In this case, it isn't. You reach higher than that. Go get Shaedon Sharpe.
Gary Lewis says, I stand Ben Mathurin, back the A, hashtag back the A. Donovan Strong says Ben Mathurin will be a sleeper in this draft. And that's where I am. Big Play Jay says, please no Murray. And I'm also with that as well. And look, you guys know my thoughts on Jaden Ivey have been well documented out here. I want something elite other than he can get to the rim elite. Like that but that's all I ever get, Jeff.
Yeah.
So let me put you through the ringer on this then. Sell me on Jaden Ivey. And my rebuttal to you is I want somebody who is elite at the ball that's involved in some fashion with the ball going through the net. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how it gets to the paint or anything like that. Elite distributor, elite scorer, elite shooter, something elite that involves the ball passing through the net.
And I think with Jaden, it's a great point. And I think with Jaden Ivey, what I could tell you is, and Easy talks about him needing the ball. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think all good players need the ball. That's the obvious. But with Jaden Ivey, you saw him improve tremendously from his freshman to sophomore year. He's constantly getting better. You saw him at his pro day, had a workout. He was lights out from 3. So I think he can be an option for the Pistons. But to your point, I feel the exact same way. Give me a guy who can put the ball in the basket. We have our leader, our general on the floor in Cade Cunningham. You have Killian Hayes who can also handle the ball coming off the bench. I just need a guy who can put the ball in the hoop. And I think that's Shaedon Sharpe. I think Jaden Ivey is going to bring a lot more to his game. Certainly he will excel with the ball in his hands. But I think Shaedon Sharpe and even Ben Mathurin, 2 guys that don't necessarily need the ball, but can still go out and score points. So, I mean, to your point, Neil, I kind of am leaning away from Jaden Ivey. If I had to choose, it's still Shaedon Sharpe, but I could see why people would be so enamored by Jaden Ivey. Just the highlights and how electric he is, I get it. But if we're talking putting the ball in the hoop, I'll go with Shaedon Sharpe.
Because that's how they keep score.
Exactly. That's how.
right?
Yeah, you don't need. This isn't drafting a franchise point guard. If we didn't have Cade Cunningham, I would throw out Jaden Ivey. Go get Jaden Ivey. But again, we have Cade Cunningham, so go get me someone who can score at a high level and has a tremendous upside. In a backcourt, I see Shaedon Sharpe or Ben Mathurin.
People are talking about this in the YouTube chat thread, and this has got a lot of run as of late. And you hear these scenarios that come out there, the trade scenarios and the Portland stuff and the Sacramento stuff and all the stuff that's out there. For me, I am more interested because Jeremy Grant, to me, is an asset at $30 million a year. In a world where DeAndre Ayton is going to get 35 to 40 million, super rookie eligible max, contract. To me, financially, where Jeremy Grant fits makes him more valuable. And you guys know this may shock some of you as the 180 about rookie contract draft capital guy. I'm not so much just generally rookie contract guy. I'm value contract guy. Because that's how you win. You get more guys producing above their salary than you do producing below their salary.
Right.
Those guys are good to have. When it's inverted, those are not good guys to have. Just trying to keep it simple so we can all follow along here. But this Portland trading Jeremy Grant to Portland for the 7th pick, that does nothing for me. Nothing for me. Am I crazy?
You have to explain yourself. What do you mean it does nothing for you?
For who? Like, give me the who.
Well, yeah. I mean, on that, it would have to be. It's hard to just predict who will be there. But again, I mean,
so you've lost me.
Jalen Duren, Ben Mathurin. I think those are two guys that are going to be there. It just depends where this team wants to go. How good do they want to be? How quick? Because if you keep Jeremy Grant, let's say you go out, you take a Jaden Ivey, and then you go out and sign DeAndre Ayton. That looks like a pretty good team. But if you trade Jeremy Grant away for the 7th overall pick and you take 2 rookies this year, now you have a team, a majority of them are 20 to 23-year-olds. So now you've kind of let us know what direction you want to head into. So I don't think you're crazy by saying it. Certainly if you want the Pistons to get there quicker, keeping Jeremy Grant would be ideal because where else will you trade him? I think Portland is the best trade. I don't see another situation you can deal Jeremy and get better than the number 7th overall pick. I just don't see it. Certainly not a sign and trade with DeAndre Ayton, to Spencer's point. I don't want to see any of that happening either, so we'll pass on that.
No, we'll discuss that in a second. Rob J says Grant is worthless. See, I disagree because the guy puts the ball in the net.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. 6'9", he can switch multiple positions. Every contending team wants Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
Sorry to break it to you guys. And he's making $20 million. Sorry to break it to you again. That's affordable talent. That's a starter. That's why the Portland Trailblazers are so high on him, and other teams as well. So to say he's worthless, I think people just have this sense of nightmares. They look back on this season and they look at a bad team with Jeremy Grant leading them in scoring for half the season, and they shrivel. They hate the thought of it. I'll break it to you guys. Jeremy Grant on a good team, they'll love him because if you're winning, Jeremy Grant's the guy you want. I'm sorry. That's just how it works.
Yeah, it's just, for me, Shad 216JF, 5 and 7 could get you Sharpe and Duren. And I'm not. For them to be what? 20-point a game guys? Is that the goal?
I think Jalen Duren would be solid, but again, like to your point, I think I'd feel better taking Sharpe if you had 2 picks. Because then you feel more comfortable. If you just take Sharpe only in the first round, it's tough to handle. What's up, Spencer?
And I was just going to say, I think, if we get 7, we take Sharpe at 5, that means 2 of either Keegan Murray, Ben Mathurin, or AJ Griffin are going to be there at 7. Right. And I think adding them to our team definitely improves. If we can trade Jeremy Grant, get the 7th pick, and end up with Shaedon Sharpe and Benedict Mathurin, I would be extremely happy. Like, I think that would be great. I think Ben Mathurin can fill the Jeremy Grant role where he's that guy that's going to be able to switch on defense.
I think we're being a little dismissive about a 20-point-a-game guy.
No, I mean, I don't.
Like, we're getting really blasé.
I like him. I think he's a good fit, but he's not going to be, your number 1 or your number 2 on a winning team, and I don't think Ben Mathurin will be either. I mean, Ben Mathurin thinks he will be. He thinks he's going to be the best player in the NBA in 5 years. But I think if you can get younger,
on rookie contracts,
on a rookie contract,
Neil knows about those.
Get even younger of a guy that could produce at the same caliber, I would like that.